Hi, I'm Pete George, and we are live on Game Changers with Vicki Abelson. Our guest tonight is Larry Hankin. Woo!
Yay! All right, Larry's been here for about 6 hours waiting for the show to start. You're talked out.
I'm talked out. I was a 2-hour drive. It's hell getting here. It's just hell getting here. But I'm so glad I made it. I'm so glad. This is great.
And it's almost like it's real.
Almost.
It's almost
Not quite, but
it's almost like it's real. All right, so I have to. So I hate looking down when we're on the air, but I always have to make sure that actually this is happening and that we're actually we are on the air and we're live. See, there we are. And we'll get it over here, and so then we can see who's on, and we can talk to people.
And I can watch my movies here. This is cool.
You can sit and watch.
So I'll be watching another show. I got my shows to watch, and it's time. So we'll be watching my shows.
You have your Wednesday shows?
Yeah, my Wednesday shows.
Do you have shows that you watch?
Nova.
What? Come on. That's like a geography show, right? What's Nova?
Nova is like a science show.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sci-fi.
Do you like sci-fi?
No,
I don't either.
But Nova, I like Nova, and I like I like Barry. I like Barry.
I love Barry. You were terrific on Barry.
I was terrific on Barry. Is one of the reasons I like it. But also, I like it because I like him. I like Bill Hader. He's really cool.
Is he fun to work with?
He's great.
Okay, so how so? What makes him special?
Because what makes him special? Well, he knows things that I've worked with a lot of directors in my time, and the big deals, the great directors, John Huston, and Larry David.
Is Larry David a good director?
Yeah, the good directors are really good directors because they don't direct. See, that's the whole point, and Bill Hader doesn't direct. I asked John Huston about that. I was in Annie. So I asked John Huston about that. I said, what's the deal with directing? Well, maybe I didn't ask him. He was kind of complaining. Somebody asked him, and I was right there. He said that 80% of directing is in the casting. If you cast the right person, why are you going to direct him? You cast him because he's got great ideas, this actor. He comes up with great stuff. So if you're going to direct him, then he's going to drop all his greatness and he's going to do what you want. And so all the great big time directors, they don't direct. They may rehearse with you, and we'll talk about ideas. But once the camera shows up, they don't direct.
Have you had?
And Bill Hader didn't direct. He didn't talk to me at all. You get
Is
frightened.
that unnerving?
It's totally unnerving.
Woody Allen too. He doesn't.
Woody Allen.
Right?
That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, Woody Allen. There's many directors, and then the okay directors. The ones that work all the time and blah blah. Yeah, they give you direction, and or even, that's about it.
Has anybody thrown you off your game besides me by over directing?
Yeah, and then I have an attitude problem. They go listen. They say during the audition, they'll say, and then later on when they say okay, and then they have you back for this you've been you got to recall. Go back, and there's a director, and he comes out to me while I was sitting outside in the waiting room, and he says, "Look, I loved what you did when you auditioned for me, but listen, for this, when we go into the room with all the people, the producers, and the suits and stuff, just bring it up, just maybe you don't have to go over the top, but just a little louder, a little more, and then when we shoot it, then I'll bring it down again. So okay." And I go, yeah, and then he went back inside.
And of course you did it exactly the same way.
I did what I do, man. Don't give me this bullshit, I didn't get the job.
Yeah. Do you still have to audition?
No, not anymore.
Yeah,
well, I know. I don't know because I don't audition.
Good.
I just don't. Yeah. Unless I'll audition for Vince Gilligan anytime.
Okay, so I want to talk about
anytime, but he doesn't ask me to audition. He just, "Hey Larry, are you busy?" He
just brought you in?
That's what he says. "Hey Larry, are you busy on the 18th or whenever?" I go, "No." "Okay, I'm gonna write you something." That's what he said.
From the first time you worked with him?
No.
Okay,
The first
what was
time
the
the first time.
Yeah. What?
God, it's such a puzzle and a demeaning functionality of human existence. Auditions. When I audition, here's a kind of a tell.
Okay.
If your agent calls you up and says, "Hey, get down to Warner Brothers right away. They want to see you right now. So just hop in the car and get over there.
Yeah.
Well, do I have any sides? Well, what's the kind?" They'll tell you all that when you get there, and they'll give you the sides. If you have that kind of instruction, I've had that kind of instruction many times. Somebody just got fired, and they need a replacement, and I get insulted. Oh, why didn't you call me for the part? No, I'm a replacement. So I go in with
The chip on the
big
shoulder.
fucking chip on my shoulder. Well, okay, it's about time. So
You're
I
getting
went
a lot
in.
of love with that. I guess there are a lot of actors watching. You're getting a lot of love.
Yeah. So I go in for the audition, and when I get there, just to prove that what I thought was right, there's nobody there. I mean, no other actors. It's just an empty room, and then there's just one woman there. So, "Are you Larry? You here for the audition?" Yeah, this is for Breaking Bad, the original when I was a couple of years ago, and the first time we auditioned. And she says, "Okay," and then there's just a little stand and a camera, and this assistant, this aide,
Right. This
and
person.
I'm going, man. So she says, "Okay, you want to talk about it or anything like that?" What? No. I mean, this is what I thought.
You haven't had any sides or anything.
No, they gave.
Oh,
They
gave you
did
sides.
give me for that. They
Okay.
did send me the sides, but
Okay.
it was only 5 lines.
Okay.
So it was really cool. I just read it, and I can grok that. So I went in. She says, "You want to talk about it or anything?" I said, "No, let's just try it." And then I figure, well, if you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. See what I got to do.
Right.
Let me do it. So I go blah 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 blah. It's 5 lines, and then she's just reading from the book. She's not watching. And I'm thinking, well, okay, it's going in the camera. Who cares about her? All right, fine. But it's very disconcerting because there's no relationship.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I say my 5 lines, blah blah blah, and she says, "Okay, do you want to do it again?" No, she says, "Okay," and then I said, because he says, "Well, thank you," and I go, "Do you want me to do it again?" And she says, "Do you want to do it again?" And I say, "Should I do it again?" And she says, "Well, if you want to do it again." And I say, "Do you think I need to do it again?" And she says, "No." And I say, "Thank you, I'd like to leave." Boom, and I left. Okay. So the next day I get a call from my agent, and they say, and he says, you got the part. I go, "Oh, wow, man, I'm going to be working on the show that I'm really a fan of."
Right.
That's really so great. Now, I got to tell you that I have ADHD, pretty serious, but I can deal with it. And I also have dyslexia. I'm a dyslexic. I can deal with it, but you have to deal with it. All right, so I go in and they fly me down to New Mexico, and they drive me for an hour out into the middle of the desert where this junk dealer thing is, and I get in my costume. It's a big heavy thing, and do I have to wear this? Yes, you have to wear this. Okay. I do that all the time. Do I have to wear this? Can I just wear this? Okay, all right. I always go to the costume first. Okay, so
you
then
try and get away with your own clothes? Is that?
Well, no, but generally, I believe I'm overdressed.
Okay.
Or can I wear that? And sometimes I let you. That's why I go there first. I go to the costume thing first, and I'll say, "Where's my costume?" And then they let you over there because they're busy with somebody else.
Right.
Your costume is on that rack. So I go and I look through it, and I go, "Well, can I wear this with this?" Sometimes I go, "Yeah, that's a great idea." Or, "Do I have to wear this? Can you get me something else?" And they'll say, "No, put that on." All right, fine.
Okay.
Go there, go into my dressing room. The AD shows me into my dressing room, and generally, and in this case, they have your sides there already, even if they send it to you. Just ready for you to go.
Right.
And I look, and there's not 5 lines there. There's an entire speech, a full page speech. And I go, and I say to the idea, no, what is this? And he goes, "Well, Vince really liked your audition piece so much that he had a speech written for you. This? And I go, yeah. And then he's like, yeah. And I go, no, I'm a dyslexic. I have to get, see, they have to send the script to me like days ahead so I can memorize it because I have ADHD and dyslexia. I can't memorize it. How much time do I have? And he goes, 2 hours. No, that's not enough time. And he's getting freaked out. He doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He's going, well, look, I have to get back to the set. So he splits and leaves me there. And so I'm going, oh, no, man, no, this is my favorite show. I really get upset. Mm-hmm. I mean, easily, I when I'm normal, I'm very calm.
Yeah.
But just a little wave and I'm off, I'm gone. No, this is my favorite show and I can't remember. So I tried, I really did. I tried and And I've had this problem before, so. And so I said, yeah. So I go and I run after him after I tried, and I thought, where's the AD? Yeah, oh yeah. And I said, look, I got to talk to Vince. I got to talk to Vince. And he says,
did you know Vince?
No. But
yeah.
Vince, he said Vince had this made for you, you know, and Vince saw my audition. So I said, where's Vince? And he goes, Vince isn't here. Oh, no. Okay, all right. Okay, never mind. And I go back and I just try to memorize it. Give it a shot. Mm-hmm. But it's not happening. I think I kind of got the gist of it once, Okay. Yeah. And then they knock on the door. Okay, you're up. Okay. So now I figured it out because movies is magic. What they can do is they can cut it up. Mm-hmm. You can do it in sections. Mm-hmm. So I thought, cool, man, because I think I could get, if they divided it up into, say, like 4 sections, I could get, paragraph each. Uh-huh. I could pull it off. Uh-huh. So I get out to say, so I go to the director, and he goes, it wasn't Vince, it was the director. So I said, well, and as I'm walking up to him, I said, oh, this is great. He says, you ready, Larry? And I go, yeah, so listen, we're going to break this up, right? And he goes, no, we're going to have a walk and talk. You're just going to get way down there and just keep talking and walk towards the camera. We'll do it in one. It'll be easy. Okay. And so then I started thinking about, just the inevitable. I'm going to be fired. And so I was getting ready for that. I'm getting ready for that. I'm starting to school myself. But calm down, Larry. You're going to be fired. So take it. It's just another job. Mm-hmm. So he goes, you ready? And I go, yeah. He says, okay, get down there. It's in the middle of the desert, and there's junk piled up, and there's. Mm-hmm. So okay. And he says, you ready? Oh yeah. Okay, ready and rolling and action, Larry. So I started to walk and talk, so I get the first line out, because I remember the first line. I'm not stupid. So I get the first line out, and then I just kind of improvised. I'm thinking all kinds of...
You've
and it's
got
a
great
legal
background for that.
No, but it was legalese. It was all the legal reason why the cop couldn't get into the Winnebago where they were hiding, where Aaron and Brian were hiding. Mm-hmm. So it was all the legal reasons why this was my property, and that was, So I'm just spewing legalities and bop, 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 bop. And I thought, and at the end of this, I will be fired. When I got down to about this far from the camera.
And you're totally making shit up.
And I'm I'm trying to do the lines, but...
You kind of have the lines, kind of?
Kind of, but I'm not thinking of that. I'm just trying to get legal stuff. That's what's reduced to. Like improv. Like it's an improv. Yeah. Just keep it legal. Yeah. That's all. So I get down there, and he just goes, okay, let's good, cut. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, Larry, get back down there. He doesn't say anything about anything I just did. He just said, yeah, well, let's do it again. And I'm thinking, did I just memorize that whole thing? That's what I'm thinking. Wow, that's amazing. So now that I got, and he's okay with it, now I can relax. Now I can either, try to do it again, but now if I have to go off book, I can, improvise because he's got it. It's in the can.
Right.
So the cheapest thing we've got, Larry, is film. That was a famous thing somebody said to me once. So that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So I go, okay, down there. And then I see, as I get back down there again, you ready, Larry? Yeah. And then I see the script girl walking towards me. Now, if you know anything about making movies, the script girl is the woman who is in charge of having you say what's written.
That's right.
And she makes circles around, the words that you missed.
Mm-hmm.
So I see her walking towards me with the book open and her pencil poised. And I think, uh-oh, this is not going to go well. Because if she's coming towards me, I didn't say the right words. So as she's coming up, I go, all right, what did I say wrong? And she just shows me the book. Every other word is circled.
Oh my God.
So I look at it and I go, she says, you all these words, you've got to say it the way it's written. And I said, well, I got the gist of it. And she says, the director wants you to say it as written. And I'm thinking, I'm fired. I'm going to be fired.
And you never said to the director, I never saw this before today.
I never said anything. I was just, either I could do it and let's go do it, or I can't do it and I'm going to be fired.
Okay.
Because I've been where people get fired. I've been on sets where people were fired. It's real simple.
Yeah.
And then the guy leaves. And then some new guy comes in the next day and you go on. It's very simple.
Yeah.
So no, I never mentioned anything. And she said, well, he wants you to say it as written. And I said, okay, let me talk to the writer. And she says, the director wrote this. And I go, okay. And then he goes, everything okay, Larry? And I go, yeah. So, you need any help? No, it's okay. I just refused to admit it. I'm going to get fired, but I'm not going to discuss it. It's one or the other. So he starts walking towards me with the book. So the two of them, so then he goes like this.
Words.
And I'm just waiting there. I'm just sitting there. I'm very calm. I'm just like, cool. I'm fired, but they're going to go through this thing, this little dance. So he comes next to me, and then the cameraman yells to him, he says, don't you want to stand by the camera? And he goes, no, I'm going to stand and walk with my actor. No, don't do that. You're going to walk alongside of me with the open book like I'm a child? No.
Oh,
and,
God.
And he says, you okay? And I go, no, it's fine, whatever you want to do. Okay, you ready? Yeah, action. And I just started again, I'm improvising, I'm walking, and he's got the book, and just out of the corner of my eye, because he said, where am I out of the frame? Where am I, about this far? So he's walking, so I'm looking, and I'm walking and talking. He's just, and he goes down, and okay, cut, moving on. Thank you very much, Larry, and boom. What? And I go, what? So I could not, and that was my last shot. I had done a shot before in the morning,
right?
Which was the 5 lines.
Right.
That was the 5 lines,
right?
So and then he said, you're dismissed. Larry Hankin, everybody's dismissed. Yeah, and they clap and go. So I couldn't figure it out, and I said, I've got to wait now until this shows to see what the hell I did. I'm thinking, am I a genius? Did I just pull this off? This is amazing. Okay, so now I watch it and I tell my friends to watch it. Just, to check, So I watch it. Now here's what happened.
How much later is it from when you shot it?
It's about a minimum of 2 months.
Okay.
So 2 months later, it comes on. Oh man, this is my show. I got to figure out what the hell. So here's what happens. And if you watch it, here's what you're going to see.
I'm going on YouTube as soon as we're
okay.
done.
The scene, but you got to watch the
Right.
scene. Okay.
Right.
So the scene is, I say my first line. You see me way away,
Right.
and then they come kind of a close up, and I start with my first line. Blah 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 blah, and then they cut to the cop listening to me, and then they cut inside, and they're going inside the Winnebago to Aaron and him, and then they cut back to the cop, and I'm talking over it. And I'm talking, it's
Are we
voiceover.
hearing what you're saying?
And and I'm saying blah blah blah. I'm saying this
Legal.
stuff. I'm saying legal improvisation stuff. I'm saying that, but you can't see me because it's a voiceover. And then they cut to me because I said a correct line. And then they cut inside, blah, 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 correct line, blah, 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 cop, him, Winnebago, cop, right, good line, boom, 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 end of speech, cut away. If you watch and you have a stopwatch, I am on camera 10 seconds or maybe 15 seconds. And all the rest, what he did, and he knew this from the beginning when he saw I wasn't memorizing, he said, I will just cut together what I need to convince this cop he can't go in there. So I was improvising legal stuff that they pasted together so that the voiceover came, so you didn't see the cuts, right. So it was voiceover. And it worked perfectly well, and then the name of my friend's production company is Movies is Magic. And that's what Movies is. You can't be bad if you're being filmed. They can cut away the B-roll. You're cool because they're going to throw away your bad shit. Okay? And that's what they did.
I love it.
But the crap that I put myself through on that day of shooting.
Has that happened to you? Has that happened to you before or since, that you've shown up and the sides are completely different and you have to deal?
No, I mean just once or twice, because way early in my stage, because I've had this since a child, so I mean I understand my forgetfulness and the ability to, because then I have to break it up. Mm-hmm. So
if he had given you that 2 days before.
3 days before.
Okay, 3 days before you could have memorized it.
Yeah.
Okay. But you need 3 days.
But I need to sit down and focus, and because the dyslexia and the ADHD has to do with my ability to focus very hard.
Right.
I get distracted. My mind is always running. Mm-hmm. So it just go up, there. So one time in the beginning when I started to see my roles were getting bigger and bigger, I instructed my agent to make the demand, if they wanted to use me, that they had to send me the script when it was ready immediately. And that I would always get it at least first several days before the shoot. And they always did. It was just, here's another weird actor who needs something else, So they would do it, and so I never had any problems.
It's interesting, though, because you always hear, though, about rewrites happening.
Yeah.
Especially in TV.
And I started, once they did that, because that happened, and I had to make the adjustment, or, I'd stay up later than I ordinarily would, just trying to get the new information and the new stuff. But sometimes I would go up on I did it with Bryan Cranston, as a matter of fact. Where it wasn't in that shoot. It was in the second time I did it. I don't know which show, because I did 2 shows and then the movie.
Right.
So. So okay, all right, fine. Blah 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 blah. Go up again on my lines. Okay, cut. All right, do it again. I go up on my lines again. Now I'm getting like a little nervous. Oh my God, I should have studied better. Oh, my dyslexia. Oh, my ADHD. And Brian says, hey, Larry, why don't you remember your lines? Now, when the star of a show talks to you in that way, I mean, he wasn't angry.
Right.
But he was kind of miffed, because mainly stars like to get on with it.
Right.
We'll do it once, do it twice, and let's,
Right.
So, I go, okay, and I do it again, and I go up again. And he said, hey, Larry. And now he's angry. Now he's angry, but not very angry, but he's angry in a passive-aggressive way. Now he's not giving his lines to me. He's looking over there, and I'm over here and talking to me.
Ooh.
I know, this is bad, man. So I go, all right, can I just stop for a second? So I said, all right. Everybody stops, and I walk over to the director, who was over there, and I go, can I just talk to you for a second? Yeah, what do you want? I've gone up a couple of times, and Brian is getting really angry, and so I don't know what do, man? He goes, well, one, he was talking to me like a man to man.
Yeah.
One, Larry, actors go up all the time. Two, fuck Brian. Just get back in the fucking scene. We're losing the light. What the hell is going on here? Oh, okay. I go back and I remembered my lines. Boom, 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 boom. But Brian didn't talk to me all the way back. The hour in the desert, all the way back to the production office. Mm-hmm. And generally, we talk on the way back. But no, so I thought he was kind of angry at me, and that was the last time I saw him. Mm. I just got out of the car. He didn't say one fucking word the entire hour, and I was getting, oh yeah, exactly. I was really, because this was a big deal to me.
Absolutely.
Okay, years go by.
Uh-huh.
Like last year, I think I went to an opening of some movie. Mm-hmm. A lot of stars are there, and who's there? Bryan Cranston. And for a second, so I'm standing there thinking, I don't know, oh God. But he was standing there all alone, and he looks over and he sees me, and he goes, "Hey, Larry, come here." Oh, why? Okay, I'll go over there. And then he just gives me this biggest bear hug. Great. Hey, Larry, what? Like, and I'm going, he wasn't angry at me at all. It was just...
It was in your head.
Totally in my head. Or maybe he was, but I bet you he forgot about it.
Right, because
what the hell, man?
It's one day of
actors
work,
go up all the time. He probably didn't even remember it.
And,
so, I just torture myself. Is the outcome.
And I think I don't want to speak for everybody. I torture myself. I think most people torture themselves. It's what we do. But it's interesting to see how something becomes so big and important to us.
Well, in the middle of a job, I don't care if I'm talking to you and you get mad at me for something I said. Okay, it's between me and you. I hope Vicki likes me. But in the middle of a job where you're... and I did it with Vince Gilligan, too. But the same thing when I did the movie.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to walk around the car and talk about bullshit while I'm examining the car to see if it's got a alarm on it, a police alarm on it.
Okay.
So I'm walking around the car, and again it was a long speech because I just have to walk and talk around the car. It's a walk and talk.
Right.
So I said to him, "Well, we're going to do it and divide it up, right?" This is years later, right? But this is the part where he called me.
Okay.
And said, "Hey, Larry,
I wrote something for you."
No, he didn't say that. He said, "Are you available?" Da 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 da. And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay, because then I'm going to write something for you. But if you're not available, I'm not going to write it. So you better, you." So I said, "No, I'm available." He says, "Okay," and I write. So that was all he said, and then I get this thing, and it's a speech about going around and around. So I get there, and I memorize it and everything, blah, blah, blah. And then I get there, and then I walk around. And now this is even more production-wise. He's got like 5, there's 1, 2, minimum of 3 cameras, but I think maybe it's 4 or 5. Uh-huh. There's a lot of, it's a big production. Well, he's got a big, huge budget. It's a movie.
Right.
So crew and everything, much bigger than the walk and talk thing.
Right.
Okay. So he says, "Okay, Larry." So I go up to him again. I say, "Well, can we just divide this up?" No, we're going to just walk and talk. Shit. Okay, so walk and talk. So I'm, getting ready. And there's 5 other guys in the scene. They're waiting, the gang and Aaron are waiting while I examine the car. So I go, okay. So I start to walk and talk around the thing, and Vince goes, this is the only time, because Vince is a great director. It's the only time he would give me any direction. He just said, do it faster. Uh-huh. That's cool. Do it faster.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm doing it faster, but I didn't rehearse it that way, so I'm going up on my lines. All right, do it again. No, I go up on my lines again. I go up, and then he goes, okay. And then one of the cameras said, "No, wait a minute. I got to fix the camera." So he says, "Okay, Larry, just take a break." So he fixed the camera. So I'm rehearsing my lines up on the side there. Okay. So then I do it again, and one of the cameramen gives me a direction. Like, when you pass this spot here, could you look up And I go to Vince and I said, what are all these cameras for? And he goes, well, they're all for you. What do you mean? Yeah, they're all photographing you. I go, oh no, that's really important. That's like making me more important than I thought this was. I thought I was just, you're on the other. In other words, what he's saying is, no, we don't have a B-roll. We're not going to cut away from you. This is just you, and we're just going to pick the best shots of you.
Right.
So that kind of worried me. But then what he said, so I did it again. This time I had my head up. I kind of, like, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, okay, Larry, take a break. Everybody take 10-minute break. And then he calls all the cameramen into the TV village. They disappeared. So I'm just left there alone. Mm-hmm. So I rehearsed. Mm-hmm. And I just kept rehearsing around and around, waiting for them to get up. And when I finally had it down, really pat, Vince said, okay, let's shoot this. Oh. And I did it great. And I did it the first time after that. And he goes, okay, fine, let's, moving on. Mm-hmm. The thing about Vince was he wasn't getting what he needed and what he wanted. Mm-hmm. So what he did was he just broke and said, let's stop filming. And the only thing I can is he said, let's give Larry some room to just walk around a little, get used to the walking around the car and with this thing and da-da-da. And that's the only thing I can think of. And maybe he gave a couple of the cinematographers, come close in when he's over here and go back when he's over there. So that was the only other time where I went up on my lines enough where it affected the shooting of the scene. Right. But one director, Vince Gilligan, understood the problem immediately and wanted it verbatim. Right. And so he didn't say anything to me. He didn't give me any. He just said, "Let's take a break, 10 minutes." And about a year later. No. This was on the opening night of the movie. Mm-hmm. I went to Vince and I said, "Listen," and I asked him about that. I said, "When you broke down, when I was walking around a car, and you said, all right, let's take a 10-minute break. Do you remember that?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Why did you do that? Did you do that so that I could practice, Mm-hmm. And all he said was, "Well, I wanted everybody to just, get everything right. So I figured it was the best use of my time to, talk to the cinematographers and let you walk around." So he evaded a direct answer of, "Yeah, you were fucking up, so I just said let's quit and leave him alone." Whereas the other director thought, "Well, I'll fix it in post." But again, making movies, you can't be bad.
You can fix it.
You can fix it in post. We'll fix it in post.
But they don't always fix it because there are some
movies because they're not good directors or they don't have enough money, or in those cases they were great directors who understood the medium. Mm-hmm. It's a very malleable plastic medium. Movies is magic. Mm-hmm. And you can fix it in post if you understand going in that, leave Larry alone, or we'll fix it in post because he said enough good things that we can. But I wasn't fired and nobody got weirded out except maybe for 2 seconds Brian did, but he.
Have you ever seen somebody get fired in front of you on a set because they didn't know their lines or something like that? Have you seen somebody get fired? You said it happens all the time.
Yeah, on Escape from Alcatraz, mm-hmm. I was hired in a spot where the guard was fired. I didn't know this until I got on the set, mm-hmm. or when I auditioned, because I got this. Somebody was fired. Larry, get down there at Warner Brothers because it's Clint Eastwood's next big movie, Escape from Alcatraz, and they need you down there right away. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, somebody's got fired, mm-hmm. and it was true, because when I got there, they said, there's no sides. They'll give you everything down there. We don't know what part it is. Mm-hmm. Just get down there. Mm-hmm. So I immediately jumped in the car, and when I got there. And I got in the room with Don Siegel, the director, and this big agent. She said, the casting agent, he said, I get there, there's nobody there again. And I said to the secretary, I said, well, is there any sides, any kind of information about what I'm supposed to be?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, you don't have the sides? No. And you don't know what part you're up for? I said, no. I said, do you have any sides? She says, no, but I got the script. And she gives me the script. So it's, 80 pages, 90 pages. Whatever. I'm not going to read this. I'm going to, who am I? So I just gave it back to her.
Yeah.
And, I held it in my lap. And I went. But as soon as I sat down, this woman peeks out of the door and says, are you ready? And I said, yeah. Because I figured I'm going to get fired or I'm not going to get the job because there's nothing I can study. It's ridiculous, and it's a big movie. So there's a lot of money involved and they don't like to fool around. So I go in and Don Siegel, who's just a very nice elderly gentleman. Oh, he's so great. He just said, okay, so Larry, and there's just 3 seats. He says, I'm sitting as close to him as you, and there's another chair there. That's the director, the casting director, and me.
Okay.
And he goes, okay, so what part are you here for? And I go, I don't know. And she says, he's here for either Charlie Butts or the guard. And he goes, well, and he turns to me and he goes, well, Larry, see the guard, and then he's kind of talking about, well, the guard beats up Clint in that scene there. I don't think you can beat up Clint, can you? You go like that. Can you? I don't think you can beat him up, can you? And I go, I don't think so. And he goes, no. What about? And then he goes, well, what about Charlie Butts? I go, I don't know. I don't know. And he goes, and just as he's about to say something, she butts in, and she says very adamantly, she says, Charlie Butts is because it's a real story. Charlie Butts is.
I love that movie, by the way.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
he's red-haired, he's short, fat, and he wears glasses. And he goes to her, yeah, but the audience doesn't have the screenplay. Can you want to do? And then he turns to me immediately and he goes, you want to do Charlie? And I go, yeah. He says, okay, you got it. And I go, are you serious? He says, well, you want to read it? I go, yeah. He says, all right, I'll read with you. So he takes my script. I think he had another one. So he says, all right, turn to page 79. I go to 79, whatever the page was. He opens it up. He says, all right, I'll play blah, 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 and you play Charlie. You want time? No, I'll just read it. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, good. All right, you got the part. And I just sat there, nonplussed, because they never tell you that, ever. They will not tell you that. So I just sat there and I go, okay. And he goes, you don't believe me, do you? And I go, no. And he goes, all right, tell you what. Go home, sit by the phone, see what happens. So I said, okay, is that it? He goes, that's it. And I walked out. I got home, I sat by the phone, about a half hour later, rang, you got the part. Boom. Go figure.
What a great story.
They're all great stories, but not while you're doing it,
Right,
not while you're there. The worst turns to laughter, Good old Shakespeare.
So I told you beforehand that I wanted. Oh, first, you said you had a story. I should ask you about somebody trying to kill you.
Oh, that. Well, that has nothing to do with show business.
I know, but let's have that story because I'm going to forget. I remember now.
Wow.
So
okay, cool. I mean, it has nothing to do with show business, but I was in Greenwich Village. I was doing open mic nights. So this is when I first started.
Show business.
Well, yes, I was first starting. I just graduated college. I was my roommate was Carl Gottlieb, who wrote Jaws.
Wait, where did you go to college?
Syracuse University. I graduated as an industrial designer. I never used it. I got out of 5-year course. I got out with Carl Gottlieb, who was in the writers thing. He wanted to be a writer always. We were friends, best friends in college. So we got out. He said, "I'm going to Greenwich Village. Why don't we be roommates?"
Wait, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Far Rockaway, Long Island.
You were telling the truth when you said that. You like the Ramones.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Short, sweet.
Okay.
Boom. In your face. So I was. So we were in Greenwich Village. Me and Carl. And we were, 5-floor walk up, and he was writing. He was reviewing movies all the time, and I was starving. I was cleaning duck boards. in a bar after 2 a.m.
What's a duck board?
The flat things behind the bar, so the
right.
water goes through onto the floor.
Okay.
So they're not walking or sloshing around in it. The liquor falls through.
Right.
So I would come in at 1:30, and hang around, and then they would lock me in, and I would sweep up until 6 in the morning when the chef would come in. They would lock me from the outside. So what I would do is I would wear a raincoat every day because I was starving. We were in Greenwich Village. So what I would do is, then they never locked the walk-in freezer or the storage, the food storage bin where they would have the canned foods and the dry goods. So I would always go into the walk-in refrigerator, and I would steal a side of bacon, and I would put it in my back thing and put on my raincoat and wait by the door for the chef to come in at 6 in the morning. He would open it up. I would just slide out. Oh, hi, how you doing? Didn't want to, no talk. I got to get out of here. And after 2 weeks, I quit because I figured they're going to start counting. They're going to start counting, so 2 weeks. And then I would get another job, duck board somewhere else. Anyway, and I was doing the Monday nights. Okay, and Carl then went into the Army, so I had to get another roommate and another place. So I got an old friend from Syracuse, older than me. He was an ex-Marine, and so we were roommates. And one day we were in a bar, and he's an angry guy, really an angry guy, PTSD. And we were friends, great friends in Syracuse, and roommates. We're in a bar, and he starts a fight with this guy, man. And so the bartender says, all right, take it outside. So they didn't really get into it. So my friend starts to walk out first, and I thought that was really weird. He turned his back on the guy. The guy's behind him, and he said, okay, and he immediately walked out first, and the guy said, okay, yeah, sure. And the guy was following him, and I said, that's a dangerous thing to do. These guys are really angry. So as he walked out the door, my friend grabbed, immediately turned around and grabbed something I guess he saw, and he swung and kicked this guy back, just right in the chest. Wham! And I go, what the fuck, man? That's crazy. Now it's going to get really bad. So the guy goes flying back, and then we just took off, running. So we ran about 2 blocks. Nobody was following us. And I'm thinking, what the fuck did you do, man? And he's still angry. He's still angry. So, and he immediately says, he started going up to the apartment. He didn't talking or anything. He's running upstairs. What's the big hurry, man? We got no one's chasing us. Gets in. He immediately goes into the kitchen and takes out a big carving knife, And I go, what? And he heads out the door, and I go, where are you going? And he just didn't stop. He said, I'm going back to the fucking bar, and I'm going to stab the guy. And he's gone. And I didn't chase him, so I got on the phone, and thank God I remembered the name of the bar, and I got the phone number, and I called. And I said, look, that guy who started the fight before about a half hour ago? Yeah. Well, he's coming back. He's got a knife. I mean, he's really angry. I get that guy out of there because he's going to stab him or something. He's really dangerous. And I was so the guy said, okay, thanks for the heads up. About an hour later, maybe a half hour later, in comes my roommate. He's got the knife. And he just comes right up to me, grabs me like this, and he's shoving me, He's got the knife, says, you fuck. And he pushes me into the bathroom, and then he pushes me into the bathtub, and I go, oh, fuck. This is serious. Blood. This is to catch the blood.
Oh,
this is to catch the blood. He's a Marine. He knows this shit.
Yeah.
So, an ex-Marine. He's a Marine. So he goes like this, and he goes, you fucking ratted out on me. I go, no, you don't understand. He says, what don't I fucking understand? I was going to kill him, and I want to kill somebody. It's going to be you, Hankin. And I go, no, you don't want to do this. When your life is threatened, you don't know what you're going to say. You can't rehearse that shit. And I thought, don't talk about me, like don't kill me. Let's put it on him. That logic came from somewhere in my DNA. I had nothing to do with that. And I said, you don't want to do this. They're going to bust you. They're going to find you. It's all about you. Whatever. And he calmed down. I got him to calm down and let me out of the bathtub. That was the key. If I can just get out of the bathtub. I mean, he had me up against the shower thing. I remember. I'll never forget it.
God.
And he finally put it away. But that was the end of the relationship.
I was telling you when you first got here, your life to me is as interesting as your career, if not more so. And that
wasn't the only time. I'm not going to tell you another one, but there's 2 more times where I had a gun to my head and then a knife to my throat. I mean, I don't know where this comes from. I just don't know where that comes from.
The company you keep?
The company I keep. Okay, I'll tell you real fast.
Okay.
Fast.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go.
so now I'm in the committee.
Yeah.
I'm in the committee.
Which we have to talk about.
Okay, so we're in the committee, and I have a friend, Gino. And Gino,
That's an improv troupe, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, it's like Second City in San Francisco. So Gino likes to take me to places. He's kind of a well-to-do Italian guy, always well-dressed, really old school, but young. At this time, I was maybe 25, and he was 40.
Okay.
Always like, Larry, I'm having dinner with these people, come along. So one day he says, hey, Larry, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. We're going to go over his house. So I walk over his house, walk in the door, and he says, Richard, I want you to meet my friend here, Larry Hankin. You're really going to like him. This is Richard. Richard immediately goes, what the fuck? And he pulls out a 45, and he puts it to my head, and he says, you fuck, Gino, you brought a cop in here. And I suddenly realized, what's going on? And he said, don't give me that fucking shit to me. And he says, Gino, and then Gino says to me, well, he sells drugs. That's what's going on here. And he goes, no, he's not a cop. He's not a cop. I swear by it, man. And he says, no, I have a photographic memory. I have seen this guy. This guy's a fucking cop. Gino, why did you do that? Why did you do that? And he was just, and Gino says, wait, stop. Have you ever seen The Committee? And he goes like this. He goes, have you ever seen The Committee? Holy fuck, this guy's funny. Hey, George, this guy's in The Committee, man. Wow, fuck, man, you are so fucking funny, man. Come on in, man. What do you want? I'm sorry, Gino. I'm sorry. Hey, I apologize.
Wow.
Whoa, man.
Wow.
I got a photographic memory. I recognize it. Holy fuck.
Oh my God. All right. So before we start getting into things, Pete, who are we saying hello to today? Let's say hello to some people.
Okay, yeah.
Because I feel like we've been...
Nikki Luongo.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, Steve. Who else? Hi, Michael. Phil. Hey, Trish. Oh my God, a speech. I see some of the stuff they're saying. Does anybody have questions yet, or are they just commenting on what's been going on?
Sure. Nikki
Hi, Christina.
wants to know who's been your favorite co-star?
Well, say that again?
Who's been your favorite co-star?
Aaron Paul.
There you go.
Easy.
From the show or from the movie?
From both.
Yeah.
But from the show, no. We would like to do a movie together. That would be really cool. I'm trying to think of one to make, but I don't know.
Would you ever write a book about your Hollywood experiences?
Ooh.
I am. I'm doing that right now. Who am I talking to? Am I talking to this?
You're talking to Nikki.
Oh, Nikki, yeah. I'm doing that right now. I'm in the midst of it. Here, I'll even show you.
Can you tell them the story?
See, can you see this book?
Yeah.
See these things? These colored things here, these colored markers?
Hi, Tova.
That's for the book. That's for writing my
But
story.
This is Larry's current book that's out now.
Yeah.
The Loopholes Dossier, which we'll talk about. But
Yeah,
before we get to current events, so you're in for a rock. Are you a weird kid? Are you a funny kid? What kind of kid are you?
I won funniest in high school 2 years in a row. So, junior year and senior year.
And what did that look like? Are you in plays? Are you just?
I was in a Dear Ruth was the play that I was in, and I got the biggest laugh. I'll never forget that. That was the first laugh I ever got, and it was so big.
Do you remember what you did that got the laugh?
Yes, I did this. I did this. I'll show you exactly.
Okay.
That's it. Huge fucking laugh. And I'll tell you why. And I couldn't find that laugh again. And this has happened to me on stage at least twice in big plays.
Okay.
But that one, in other words, I had in Dear Ruth, I had a girlfriend. I think it was Ruth. I don't remember much about the play, but I do remember this. So I had a girlfriend. I was the funny boyfriend who was going to be upstaged by the hero of the play with Ruth, who was the heroine of the play. Mm-hmm. So I get shut out. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of gawky, geek kind of guy, written. And there's a gathering in the household, and I'm sitting on the arm of a couch. I was talking to her mother. Mm-hmm. And the hero comes in. I don't know that they have something going on. Mm-hmm. And she's trying to tell me. She hasn't told me yet. He comes in. He knows he shouldn't say the wrong thing because she has a boyfriend. Mm-hmm. He's going to be at the house, so just, cool it. Something like that. And then he says something immediately, as a laugh or something like that, referring to blowing the whole thing about, hey, is your boyfriend here? Or something like that. And I was just going, and I went, and it was the first time I'd ever known my girlfriend had a boyfriend. So I got a big laugh from the high school students.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, whoa. But the whole point was, and people have pointed this out to me, it's like a rule. Mm-hmm. In stage plays, generally, visual takes precedence over oral.
Interesting.
Yeah. In the first thing, because I didn't know about the laugh, there was a laugh there.
Right.
And I didn't know, I hadn't rehearsed it, and I didn't know that when he said that, because I didn't do any backstory about my character. I was a high school student.
Right.
I just remembered the lines and said them. Mm-hmm. But on stage, in that performance, I suddenly realized when he said, is your boyfriend here yet? Mm-hmm. He was referring to me, and that's my girlfriend. What? And I just reacted in a real way.
Right.
Because it was real. And the audience dug the reality of the situation, and I moved, and nobody else was moving on stage. Mm-hmm. So that's why I got their attention. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, he would get the laugh.
Right.
Okay, so the next night, the director said, keep that in. That's a good laugh. Mm-hmm. So I did it the next night, and there was no laugh because I didn't move. I think I just moved my head. Mm-hmm. Or he was moving when he said the line, something going on, so they never saw it. Mm-hmm. So he said, well, then cut it. Okay, years later when I was at the Mark Taper Forum doing Sam Shepard's play, L.A., Angel City. Mm-hmm. There was on opening night, the hero of the play, the lead of the play, not the hero, the lead of the play was giving a long speech. Mm-hmm. And we were all supposed to, and he was up on a dais kind of thing, giving a long speech to his office, and the office was below him, and we were all his subjects. Mm-hmm. That was kind of the relationship. We weren't employees, we were subjects. Mm-hmm. So Sam Shepard had said that one of his employees was called Timpani, my character. And what he did was he played a timpani drum in the office. And they had a real timpani, and timpani, the actor who had to play that part, had to be able to play the timpani because that actor played the overture only on the timpani. Mm-hmm. And then in the play, I would just be cleaning. That was all I did, is I cleaned the timpani. Mm-hmm. That was there was a secretary, there was okay. So I didn't have many lines, really. And cleaning. And every once in a while, I would accent somebody. If something was important, I go, boom. That was all. It was really cool. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I had to learn how to play the timpani to play the overture, which I did. And the review, one of the best reviews I've ever got. It said it was amazing how they got a timpani player to be that good an actor. That's what you want.
That's a compliment.
That's what you want.
That's great.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So in the middle of his long speech, where he was going like this, I was supposed to, we all just relaxed and turned to him, and he's giving this long speech, like to the people, and he went up on his line. His opening night.
Going up on your line means forgetting your line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so he went up on his lines. He forgot his lines, and there was a long silence, and nobody knew what to do. Then no cue was thrown or anything, and all of a sudden the house is packed. We're all on stage facing this way, and he's standing up there. I'm seeing him, and this shock on his face, trying to come up with the next line, and so I was like this, and everybody was still because they were supposed to be listening to him. So now, I didn't know this, but remember what I just said about movement and speech. What I did was instinctively, because I was an improvisational actor.
Right. I
try to relax.
Okay.
Oh, he'll think of it, oh, this is normal. This is within the play. So I went, like this. Oh, and I guess I forgot. At one point, I was making pancakes on the timpani surface, like it was a grill, in another part of the play. Oh, everybody said, he said, well, you probably all have other things you would rather be doing. And then this is according to Sam Shepard, and then everybody starts miming the thing that they really wanted to be.
Okay.
Like the secretary would be maybe a doctor.
Okay.
She was just miming, going like this. Somebody else was filing something or doing it. And I was
making pancakes.
Making pancakes. I was flipping pancakes. So in the silence, I just did this, like I'm listening to him, and I burned my shoulder, or I burned my hand. Ow, ow, ow. And the place fucking broke up, covering the thing. It was a big, huge laugh, because I think they thought maybe he had forgotten a line, so there was a tension that was released. I released the tension, right. So that's why I got the big laugh. And meanwhile, somebody shouted to him his next line, covered by the laughter, and the play went on. Okay, in the review, it got mentioned. Oh, that thing about when they burned the thing, that was really funny. It was just a mention. Okay, and the director came backstage after the show and said, "We got to keep that in. That's a great laugh, but we never found it again." And the reason he said, just do that pause where you forgot your line. Now do it on purpose. Right. But every show we couldn't get it because, I don't know, everybody else was waiting for it, or he was moving, or it just, the tension wasn't there because it was practiced, I guess. And then finally the star, the lead, in rehearsal, in an afternoon rehearsal after we opened, came up to me and the director and said, "Hey, I can give that speech without forgetting a line. Let's cut that. It's not funny and I'm just hanging there." So they cut it, so it was the only time. Yeah, but stuff like that happens all the time because I used to do a lot of plays.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So when you were a kid, do you know that's what you want to do? Do you know you want to be on stage?
I didn't. As a kid, I never wanted to be or do anything. I was a now kid. I lived in the now. There was no future. Never. All the way until...
Were you a good student?
Yeah, I would get A's. Yeah, I was an A student.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, and but it went like this. In public school, in high school, and in college. And I looked this up. My track record is first year A, B, C, D, F. High school A, B, C, D, F. College A, B, C, thrown out twice. And then A again because I don't know. I just was tired of being thrown out or
So was it your behavior?
I get
that
bored
was,
really fast.
Okay, so that's the ADHD kind of.
Yeah, the focus. I mean, in other words, I can focus in the beginning because it's new and my mind is just attracted to anything new. I'm really curious, but after a while, it's just he's talking and I got to make, and we have a test, and he talks and we have a test. It's a fucking.
So when did you start to get passionate? When did you start to get interested? When did you start to have a focus? Okay, I want to be an actor. I want to be a comedian.
I was no, because I had nothing to do. Carl was working on reviewing movies night after night after night.
And you're cleaning out duck traps.
Well, but at 1:30 a.m., so I have the whole night free. And we were in Greenwich Village, and I didn't have any money, except for the duck board, but that went for the rent and a little food. I was eating liver and peanut butter sandwiches, liver for the iron and the vitamins and the peanut butter for the rest of the stuff. I looked it up. And Carl said, "You eating peanut butter? How can you eat liver and peanut butter?" I said, "Yeah, but I got to stay healthy." So I would start going to free stuff like Monday night open mics, and then I said, "Wait a minute! I was a funny guy in high school. I was a funny guy in college. I can be as funny as those guys." But it's a learning curve, so I was really pretty bad in the beginning. But
were you doing stand-up? Were you?
Yeah, an open mic. I would go up and I would just talk about my day.
So you would just talk. You weren't writing.
I never wrote anything ever. I didn't know how to write comedy. I didn't know the setup and the punchline. I mean, I knew it in my head, but I just, and then finally somebody, and I was getting really good.
I was saying, did it click for you?
Very
right away?
slowly. It took 6 months, but
okay.
in 6 months I was opening for Woody Allen.
That's not slow.
Well, to me it really was.
Wow, that's.
Well,
not
I had
slow.
his manager, and he said, you're going to open for Woody. He came in one night. You got a manager? No. You want one?
Jack Rollins.
Yeah, Jack Rollins. Yeah.
I know his.
Yeah, and Charlie Jaffe. But Jack was the one who came in and said, "Hey, you got a manager." I didn't know who he was. I didn't find out. Because he would come in every Monday night. I said, "When are you going to be on a Monday night?" I said, "Well, I'll be next week." He said, "I come in," and he would check on me. And then finally he said, "Okay, listen, Woody is opening at the Jim Paul Isler's downstairs at the downstairs, because he had an upstairs too. And I'm going to book you and you go open for Woody." So I opened for Woody for about a week or two. And then Woody got billed into the Americana Hotel, and he was doing the Ed Sullivan Show. So I went to Jack. Finally, I thought, "Oh wow, Woody Allen, you're his manager." Yeah. So he goes, and Mike Nichols and Elaine May, and so he goes. So I said, "Well, get me on the Ed Sullivan Show." And he says, "Larry, you're doing drug stuff, you're doing marijuana, you're doing sex, and you curse on stage." "Yeah, well, that's what's funny, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, but you need television material," and I didn't know what the hell he meant by television material. And I didn't write, so I said, "I can't write it because I don't know how to write comedy. I just get up there and talk and then save it." And
were you able to save it? Were you able to?
Oh yeah, no, my memory of my own stuff. It's like names. I can't remember names, but I can remember facts. So I think that memory and of names and my stuff goes to a different part of your brain than factual and learning lines. Learning lines maybe and names go in the same place.
They do for me.
Yeah, and directions, and there's part of me that's, wow, that's really great about my brain, and there's, oh man, what a curse. So, and they don't cross over. So, and then I was opening for the Kingston Trio and Miles Davis and a lot of, famous people.
I would call you like a jazz comedian. I can see you melding with jazz because you're thinking it's kind of like jazz.
Miles wanted me to tour with him, so that was really cool. Wow. But he wanted me to tour in Europe, and I didn't know about leaving America at the time. I thought my big money would be here. I should have, but yes and no, whatever. So I was pretty good at doing it, but I was so good that I was mimicking, not stealing, but being like, Pryor and Carlin and Lenny. I saw Lenny. And Carlin and Pryor, and we would pass each other on the road. I'll be opening for or sometimes they'd come in a day before, I'd come in a day before and check the act that was leaving.
Right.
And it was either Pryor or Carlin or Robert Klein, and also who's the guy who Eisenstein is his real name.
Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks, yeah. Oh man, he would kill. I would come in the day before.
Paul Reiner said he's the funniest person he's ever.
Man.
Yeah.
I'd be in tears on the floor, and I go, oh man, I open tomorrow night, and I got to follow this guy. Holy cow! But anyway, and then finally the police started to, the end of the '60s and drugs and Dobermans and I was taken. I was opening for the 11th Spoonful and the Blues Project, and I was big,
Wow.
But when they started doing the college tours, Washington D.C., Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri, I was taken off the stage by the police. They called the police and because I was cursing on stage and talking about marijuana and sex and all that stuff, and the students wouldn't take it.
So it was like a Lenny thing.
Oh my God, but I wasn't doing drugs yet. So this was a total surprise to me. I mean, I was watching Lenny, I was watching Pryor, I was talking to all the musicians that I, would come and see me, they were doing drugs. I mean, everything. But it hadn't occurred to me yet. I was doing well, and they thought I was funny, and hey, you got to open for us, man. And then finally, when I sat down, I was never around when they were lighting up. That was basically it. I was either on the road or with somebody. And then finally, when I was in the committee, when I finally got an apartment and I had a steady job being in the committee and we were successful, then I started doing marijuana because I was around when people were lighting up because I wasn't on the road. So, hey, come on over, we're doing marijuana. Really? And then, luckily, again, when people were shooting up, the one time when I was there when they were shooting up, just one guy, an artist who I know who were hanging around. I mean, just hanging around. And he said, oh, come on over to the house, if you're in the neighborhood, come on. So I dropped in, hey, how you doing? So we were talking. He was an artist, and that's what our thing was. Oh, I draw that, I draw this. And then he says, well, and we were talking, and he takes out his works, just like normal, like a ton of that, blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. And he says, you want to get high? And I go, okay. And that was like the tell right there. And he goes, you've never been high. Oh, well, I smoke marijuana, yeah, but you've never shut up. No. I'm not going to be the first guy, man.
Thank God.
Fuck off. And he just put it away.
Thank God.
Yeah! yeah. I mean, so, and I took that as, wow. And the guy was really a cool guy. I mean, he's very intelligent and a great artist and a great friend. For that.
A great friend.
A great friend. But I would talk about it on the stage because, and that's why the students, and they were throwing, the auditoriums where they have the wooden handles, the wooden armrests, the old movie auditorium. They come off. You can not, Okay, so I was on the stage at Washington University in St. Louis, packed, 11 Spoonful. I was opening for them. And I'm really telling my stuff and getting a real lot of laughs. And then I get into the heavier stuff about, halfway through or a quarter of the way through. And I'm talking about drugs. And okay, that's, that's funny. Yeah, right. Okay, cool. And then I get into, okay, let's talk about God. No, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to, what? I'm looking off to the spoonful in the wings. And I go, I thought this was a college crowd. No, we don't want to hear that. Talk about whatever, talk about your family. No, I want to know. We're going to talk about God. Okay, no. Listen to this. Shut up. And I go, okay, here's, okay, God invents man. God creates man. Here's man, here's woman. Wait a minute. And I put the little man on top of the microphone, the stand-up microphone. And I go, hey, how you doing, guy? No clothes. What's that between your legs? Wow, boo, no, we don't want to hear that. No. So, what these fucking students, man. I thought this is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Boo. And they start pulling the handle off, heaving them at me on the first and second rows. And they're going, hey, get up. No. And I go, whoa. And they're laughing their heads off. They're laughing their heads off. And they go, okay. And I'm ducking these things. And finally I say, okay. And I'm really talking to them. Okay. No more. All right, fine. I'll do the clean stuff. Yeah, we want the clean stuff. Okay, so I do the clean stuff, and I'm getting pretty good laughs. They come back, right? They come right back. So I get this big laugh on this one thing, and so I go, all right, it's time. Okay, but we're going to talk about God now. Okay, so you got this thing. No, so the guys in the back are pulling off the things and passing them down to the guys in the front.
So they can heave it at you.
So I mean, no girls involved in this. No girls were throwing them. But the guys in the back are handing them down on the second time, and then I see this phalanx of cops come down. And we found out later that the first time I started talking about the sex organs, the dean was in there in the back, and he called the cops then the first time. And then it took 10 minutes for them to come. And meanwhile, I was doing clean stuff. So they just waited in the back. And, I think, well, he's doing clean stuff. We can't do anything. And then I start, now we're going to talk about the sex thing. Boom! And they just came down, and the loving spoon said, yeah! Keep doing the dirty stuff. And they come up, and they just take me very politely. They were very polite. And they just dragged me, I walked. They dragged me off stage, and I said, what's going on? What the hell's going on? He says, you're talking dirty. You're not going to go on anymore. They called the police. They called us. Mm-hmm. So, and I, well, yeah. He says, so, and then they, 10 cops, 18 cops, 2 cops stayed with me, just on each side. Mm-hmm. And I said, now what? And he said, well, we're going to stand here and keep you off the stage until they set up the drums and stuff like that. So they're setting it up, and as soon as the curtains open and the band start playing, the cops just walked away and just left me there. So I go, what? So then they do the whole thing, and then we got in the bus, and we go to Northwestern, and there's this big discussion about, well, what are you going to do, Hankin? And I go, I don't know. I mean, that's crazy. It was totally unexpected. Mm-hmm. So we get up there, and we get I guess we flew up, and then we took a bus from the bus station, from the airport to the hotel. We get out of the bus. There's 5 of us. 4 of the Spoonful, me, and then 2 managers. Mm-hmm. Their managers. So we get up, that's 5, that's 7 people. We get off, and we're in the lobby, and we walk over to the check-in desk. And there's 3 people standing in front of the checkout desk. And they say, you the Love and Spoonful party? One is a police captain, a priest, and a guy in a suit with gray hair. And they say...
and they walk into a bar. No, sorry.
Yeah, right. And they say, just the Love and Spoonful party? Yeah. Is there a Larry Hankin here? And then the 2 managers turn to us, the group, and they say, go upstairs. They didn't say, we weren't talking to anybody. Mm-hmm. Go upstairs, go into your room, lock the door. Now, I guess these 3 guys came after we checked in, or maybe they were waiting, because we had keys already. So so he said, go upstairs, go into the room, lock the door, and don't let anybody in except us, and wait for us. Mm-hmm. So we, when we get into the elevator, go up to the room, locked in, they're laughing, they're thinking, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I said, I don't know, man. About a half hour later, they come up, and they say, the 2 managers, and they say, okay, here's the deal. They don't want you to go on. That's it. Washington University called the dean and told him that they have a filthy mouth comedian opening up. Don't let him on. So the dean said he's not going on, just the Love and Spoonful. Mm-hmm. They talked him into letting you go on as long as you do clean material. Mm-hmm. As soon as you do any not clean material, they're going to either shut the lights or pull you off stage. So that's the deal. Take it or leave it. We're going to go have dinner. And they walked out. So we're thinking something. then they say, you got to do your real show. You got to do your real show, man. You got to do your real show. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know. Okay, fine. What the fuck, All right, fine. I'm gonna get fired. It's that mentality. So I go out and on the stage, open with the clean stuff, blah 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 blah, and it just kept on going. Laughs all the way through. Just I killed the whole. No. Everything was fine.
Nobody was offended by anything.
Nobody was offended by anything. It was just like a normal show. Yeah. So, and that was it. But I called my manager and I said, Jack. And I said, Jack, man, I can't keep this up, man. I don't know whether I'm going on. I was just pulled off by the police down in Washington.
Were you getting press for this?
No, no, because it wasn't a thing yet. It was just there was this one guy who was being dirty. It was like Lenny was a drug addict by then, and they were just hocking him a Chinik. They were just bothering the hell out of him. And I would talk to Lenny, and they would say, they just keep blowing smoke up my ass. That's a direct quote.
Really?
Yes, that's what he said to me. But he was a poor guy. I mean, and then he So I just said, I can't do this anymore, man. So again, A, B, C, D, thrown out of college. Again, I was in it just for the moment. It wasn't something like, you have brass balls and you just keep doing it like Pryor or Carlin or even Lenny because you had to do it. It has nothing. I didn't have to do it. I was just doing it because, hey, man, that's what showed up. And I'm making money. So he just said, so you're going to quit? I go, yeah, man. I mean, this is no fun. I like people to laugh. I don't like cops and things, And Miles Davis, I thought that was really fun. But if this is going to be what it is. So he said, well, why don't you join Second City? You can do the same material, but they own the theater. And besides, I mean, the thing about the cops and the get off the stage, that had been going on even when I was being booked with the Kingston Trio. A guy came out with a bottle out of the audience and said, get the fuck off the stage. We don't want to hear that crap. I mean, it was just happening. They were getting the press, and I was just kind of bringing up the rear.
Right.
It was kind of boring for me. I wasn't famous yet. They at least were famous because they had been on television, and I hadn't been on television yet.
Right.
So I told him, so I watched audition for Second City. I auditioned with Robin Williams. Now, he wasn't Robin Williams yet, but he was still wearing the white bib overalls, and he had the rainbow suspenders. And I'd known him. I'd seen him in the Village, and he did one or two shots on television, so I recognized him. So we both auditioned, and he got in, and I got in. He went somewhere else, and I went down to St. Louis. So I was down there, and that's how I kind of became an actor. I went up to Second City, was in Second City for a while. And then we kind of quit, a group of us, and started the committee in San Francisco. And then it was $15 to fly up from L.A. to San Francisco and back. I think it was maybe $30 round trip. So it was the most incredible thing you could ever think. Nobody knew me in L.A. because I was always on the road, and I was a stand-up comedian, not famous at all, rock and roll, nothing to do with movies. But for $30, they could fly up producers, directors, stars, would fly up, watch us because we were really funny and getting press.
Right.
And it was like getting a free audition in something that you were great in, all of us. We were really good. And so they would call and say, hey, come on down. Here's $30. We'll pay for your plane fare, a round trip. I would go down, you audition, they would fly you back, and you get the job. You'd make a couple of $100.
So how did you start? You start to transition to screen acting? How did that happen?
Well, I was doing sitcoms. Laverne and Shirley. Penny Marshall saw me in the committee. She was one of the people who flew up. Flew back. I get a call saying, hey, Penny Marshall from the production company. I wasn't with Jack anymore because I was in the committee. Didn't need it. So they said, do you want to come down? They called me personally. And they said, Penny Marshall wants to dance with you. She's looking as a part she has a date for the prom, and and you were a tall guy, and you looked very physical, or you were very physical. So she wants to dance with you. So you come down and audition. So I auditioned. This is really funny, man. This is what I go down there. So I'm rehearsing. So I got the job. Okay. Penny Marshall, she saw me, and she liked me. She's, we were great together. We had the same kind of sense of humor. So we were practicing dancing. So we had the stage to ourselves. So she's coming up with ideas. I'm coming up with ideas. Okay, how about we'll do this? How about that? And then she said, how about if you just drop me? Dip me and then drop me. Now she's a practiced physical comedian.
Right.
And she's almost like a stunt woman. Wow. She really knows how to fall and stuff. So she's really a great comedian. So she said, just drop me. And I go, I don't know, man. And it didn't work out. I mean, it was too awkward. Okay. There was no way to get her back up. And so I said, well, how about this? How about I go over to the couch and I dip you on the couch, and then if I drop you, all right. So, it's not a biggest laugh. Okay. So I did that, and that worked really well. And then she says, okay, well, what if now you fall on top of me? And then so I did that, and all of a sudden I hear this voice. What the hell's going on here? And it's Gary Marshall, her brother. So she said, she just said, matter of fact, we're rehearsing. Why? And she says, well, what is this touchy-feely bullshit? And I go, touchy-feely? And she goes, no, Gary, we're rehearsing the dance for the show. And he says, no touchy-feely, no touchy-feely. And he says, just keep away. And she looks at me, she says, he's my brother. He's my brother. So he says, so no more of that stuff. So she looks at me and she shrugs. She says, he's the producer. So, all right, so that's out. So he says, all right, fine. So just no touchy-feely, and he walks away. So he says, no. So she says to me, no touchy-feely. All right. So we rehearsed no touchy-feely. So that's the kind of thing that was going. I mean, it was really, but that's the kind of roles I was having.
And so when did things like start to shift for you? That if you
I got an agent because of the Laverne and Shirley thing. Well, I said, how did you find me? Because I was trying to get an agent before and they would say, like, I would get these kind of things, like, that New York accent, we can't use that. So, that was back in the day, the 60s. Regional accents were like verboten. Everybody had to be from the Midwest.
Standard American,
Yeah, standard American. And I was fighting that, so I was trying to forget my, New York accent. Until one guy said, okay, I don't know. I said, well, why? He said, geez, if you were only a young black kid, I could use you.
If only you were a young black kid.
What does that mean? Never mind. So he said, no, I can't, I'm looking for young black kids now. That's what's going on. So I said, well, okay, thanks. So then I got a call from an agent. He says, do you have an agent yet? No. Do you want one? Yeah. Why don't you come in? And I go, wait a minute. How do you even know about me? He said, every once in a while, I'll go into a hit show and I'll just ask. I'll just show up to the production office and I'll say, anybody interesting come through. That's my standard line. They know me by now. So I walked into the Laverne and Shirley production office and said, anybody interesting come through. Yeah, this guy who was rehearsing with Laverne, with what's her name? Penny.
Yeah.
Thank you. With Penny. Anybody? Yeah, there was an interesting guy rehearsing with Penny, and then he watched the show, and then I came in and he says, "Yeah, you're pretty funny. Yeah, I can use you. Yeah." So I just signed them. So that's how I got an agent. And then he said, you should be doing serious stuff. And I didn't want to do serious stuff. I wanted to make people laugh. That was the only desire I had, was making people laugh. If I could be in something or be on a stage or be my own stand-up guy and make people laugh, that's what I wanted to do. If I could make funny faces in a mirror, okay, make myself, whatever. That's why, so he said serious, and I said, no, I don't want to do that. And then he would send me up for the serious stuff, and I would get it. And I would do it because the money is much more in the serious stuff, and it's their
like
hour
Escape
thing.
from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I did Escape from Alcatraz. That was serious, and I got a lot of money. And then the first thing I did was I made a little movie called Sally's Diner, and that got an Academy Award nomination.
Which is phenomenal.
I can't miss, except I can in other ways.
Okay, so I want to talk about that a little, because you've had, I keep hearing water running, and I'm like writing up to my kids, turn off the shower, turn off and nothing's on. Do you hear that water running? I hear water running.
What's that?
Do you hear?
No, I was listening to the audio.
No,
I hear water, and I don't know where it's coming from. My kids are saying it's not them, so I don't know what's going on because I hear water. You don't hear it?
No,
Listen,
but I'm hard
what's
of
that
hearing,
sound?
so.
It's somebody's. It's your phone.
No, it's not.
It's not that. Something is making a hissing sound.
I don't hear it.
I hear it.
Oh, okay.
It's absolutely happening, but I don't know where it is, and it's making me crazy. But anyway, okay, so I wanted to talk to you because you've had, in your personal life, you've had all this success in your career, and yet you've had some very low bottoms.
Yeah, well, now that I look back on it, they were kind of low bottoms, but even when it was a low bottom, I didn't think it was a low bottom. I thought it was like kind of bad luck or just a passing thing. This too shall pass. It was just part of the now thing.
Okay,
I never looked at the future.
Before you go there, I just want to say that I was at a meeting. I'm a 12-stepper. I was at a meeting
cool.
a couple days ago.
Cool.
And we were talking about addiction too, and we'll talk about that too. But somebody was saying, the speaker was saying that he was homeless a few years. He was hugely successful.
Oh, I loved it.
Hugely successful. Had 4 homes. 3 cars. The wife, the kids, all the shows on the networks, and lost everything. And here he was sitting before us now, a couple years later, and now that's my ice machine, and he got it all back, and he's doing very well again. And then someone else was saying that they also were homeless 2 years ago. And here he's sitting. And to me, my greatest fear, right, is...
I write about that.
Is that happening, being homeless.
We are their worst nightmare.
And yet, here these people are, who have been through that, come out the other side. They've survived it. If you can survive that, I'm figuring you can survive almost anything. So... what took you down there with this success happening in your career?
A fluke.
Like
total fluke.
Can you tell the story?
Yeah, I was living on a houseboat. Now it wasn't it was an LSD.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
Well, okay. When you see the Second World War, black and white news footage of landing on Omaha Beach.
Okay.
And you're going towards it. That boat that you're in with the soldiers they were packed in there like sardines, and the thing goes down and they all, and then that boat. In Sausalito, there was a junkyard in San Francisco, across the bay. There's a junkyard, and the owner of that junkyard was an old, really rich guy. Really old, really rich. And his daughter lived, she's a weird, crazy lady, and she lived on the dock. That junkyard was on the beach, on the shore, not a beach, shore, junkyard. That he bought, there was a sale at the end of the war, long time ago, of those boats that were on the Omaha beachhead. He bought about 10 of them.
Okay.
And then what he did was he took off the front thing, that metal thing that goes down, and he boarded it up, caulked it, put a door in all of them, put a roof on about 7 feet off of the floor. The floor was duckboards. That's what those soldiers were standing on, duckboards. Because the bottom is like a V, because it's a boat. So they duckboarded it across, really cheap. So duckboards, empty. He whitewashed all of them. And then he floated them out off his shoreline, off the junkyard, anchored them about 25 yards out into the bay, put a roof on it, tar paper, and then he connected them to the shore with one wire. That was your electricity. and then he put a light bulb in there, and then a light socket, about 3 light sockets, so you could plug in a radio or a light, whatever, radio, and then he rented them out for about $100 a month, you know. So I rented one of those, and I was paying $100 a month. And what you do is you get.
But you were already a successful actor.
No.
Oh.
No. I had left Chicago, and we had shown up in San Francisco, and I took we opened, and that was successful. But then I took a sabbatical because I like to do my stand-up. So I would leave the committee, and I would go on the road for about 2 or 3 months. So I'd give up my apartment, and then I'd come back. I'd make enough money on the road to come back and rent another apartment, and they would always save a place for me.
On the committee.
On the committee. And I was always welcome back.
Right.
Was, okay, Larry's back. Okay, you get out. Larry's in. So, because I was really good at doing that. I loved doing it. And that was the only thing that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I would want to be on that stage in San Francisco, improvising for the rest of my life. I'd still be there. Okay, so I would go around, blah, blah, blah. I gave up my apartment, come back, rented this boat. But I hadn't gone back into the committee yet. I thought, well, I got a little money. I got this boat. It came with an old park rowboat. You know, they bought. He also bought rowboats from old parks with lagoons or whatever, lakes. So I would row out, you know, and then I would row in once a month with cash to this crazy lady who lived in a little house on the dock, a weird little house. I never saw her comb her hair. That's why I call her crazy. Her hair was always like crazy, and she dressed like a crazy lady. She was about 50. And I would just pay her the $100, and I would row back to my house once a month. So that was it. That was the deal. No contract. I didn't phone her. I didn't write her. Nothing. Boom, here's your money. Okay, so now I got a call from a friend in New York. He's writing a movie. He wanted a wild man. A wild man is just somebody who just throws jokes, you know. He says, well, I got this situation where he's coming on to her and he's not, and they blah, blah, blah. You know, we need something funny. Oh, they fall out of bed. Great. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. So he wanted that. I said, yeah, but I mean, how long is it going to take? He said, 3 weeks. I said, well, okay, because I got to pay rent and but can you pay me? So he says, oh, no. This is a real thing, so I'm going to pay you, and you can live with me and my wife. So you got a place to stay. 3 weeks. Great, man. You know. So he said plane ticket there and back. Cool. Flew in, helping him 3 weeks, and it's really great. You know, I'm making him laugh. He's writing stuff. Took 2 months and 3 days. So I'm getting, so I thought, all right. Well, I haven't rode in. I don't know the phone number. I mean, there's no junkyard. I don't know. So I'll pay her when I get back. So I got back. He flew me back. I row out. The boat is empty. Totally empty, and it's been re-whitewashed. So it's like the day before I moved in. So I row back, go to the dock, knocking on the door, and this time a guy opens up in a wife-beater T-shirt. He's got slippers on. I go, hi. Where's the lady? Oh, that's my wife. Well, what's that? Oh, you're that guy. You live on the boat. Yeah, you're Larry Hankin. Yeah. Well, so where's my stuff, man? What happened? Oh, well, you were gone for 2 months at least. Yeah, but I mean, what I was going to pay her. I had the cash. I had 2 months cash. Plus, I was going to give you a bonus. Here's the money. Where's my stuff? Well, my wife rode out one night, and she threw everything overboard. What? My Bob Dylan poem? I wrote a Bob Dylan poem. He liked it. I showed it to him. He liked it. That was the only copy. No, I had my rug from my bison blanket from my everything. My books. My clothes, my sheets, my sleeping bag, my blankets, everything, my clothes, everything overboard. Yeah. Well, she's crazy, She's at the doctor right now. No, I didn't know. No, you can't. Yeah, but okay, and it's already rented. Okay, so I was homeless. boom, homeless,
So what'd you
just
do?
like that. So what I did was I immediately called my friend Mylan, who's 1963 VW bus was up for sale. I had ridden in it. It was completely gutted. It was like a delivery van. It was just metal, no cloth inside, no seats, nothing. Just the driver's seat, and that was kind of loose. But if you rode with him, you sat on a wooden box for shotgun. So it was just totally empty. And I said, listen, can I borrow your... I have no place to sleep tonight, man. I have nothing. So he lent me a sleeping bag and some blankets, and he sold it to me for $5. So I had a place to sleep. And I lived in it until I could go... And I was homeless. Now, I had a job to go back to, but I was broke.
The committee.
The committee.
Right.
I had a job, but I didn't tell them. I didn't even tell them I was back from the road. I didn't tell them that I was evicted. I just got it, and I just lived on the streets. And every once in a while I would
How
drop...
did you shower and stuff?
What you do is I would call up a friend. So here's the downside, and this is what people don't know about being
We're going to learn about homelessness now.
Yeah, and it's in the book too, but what I'm going to tell you is in the book. What I would do is I didn't have any... Okay, you give out your friends' phone numbers to people who need to call you. And then they call you, or I would show up at the committee and say, did I get any messages? I remained homeless because I was really interested in the homeless situation. What is this like? And it was such a I was just a totally middle-class kid.
How old were you?
I was in my 20s.
Okay.
Middle 20s. But it was just fascinating because I would live because you need a place to park every night, and it changes, and you don't know what's... So I would just park in in North Beach. I would just park, and sometimes there would be knocks on my window, and it would be a cop say, you can't park here. So I'd have to move it in the middle of the night, or I would find places where I could park for a day, or sometimes I would park, but it would be the wrong side of the street, or I'd have to change each side of the street. And then I would say, well, I live here. That was my new thing. And they said, do you have a bathroom on board? And I'd say, no. Well, then you can't live in it, and then you can't park here. So even if I could find a place where I could park, like a Winnebago place, there's no bathroom on it, you can't park here. So I would have to deal with that every day. And then the people that you start hanging out with, and then where to eat, and how to find food. And, cooking was out. I didn't have any place to cook. So I would either have to buy stuff that you could eat raw, or it was pre-cooked. Or, there's a lot of taking a shower. Okay.
And so the only money you had was the money you brought back from New York with you?
Yeah, it's the money I saved. So I didn't have a job. I didn't want to go, and I didn't want to go back into the committee.
Because?
So I had because then I would be getting paid, and then I'd have enough money, and then I wouldn't be homeless.
So you wanted to be...
Once I was homeless, I said, let's ride this train.
Wow.
Because to become homeless without any notice like that's what happens to people who are homeless. They don't plan on being homeless. Something happens where, either they're flooded out, or the lightning strikes, or there's a fire. Or in other words, you are homeless because of something that happened like that. Okay, yeah, and then you're because you're caught without a plan. I never thought about being homeless. It never occurred to me to be homeless. And all of a sudden I was homeless, and I thought, yeah, this is what writing is all about. This is what, I went there because I always lived in the now. There was no future to me, ever. So I thought, I'm homeless. Cool.
How long did you do it?
For a year. I did it for a year. And I really learned the ins and outs of being homeless. And what I write in here, I can read you something about being homeless right now.
Well, we've been talking for almost an hour and a half, and we haven't gotten to the meat of your career, and I want to hear you, but
Okay, fine.
I'm streamlining you because we're gonna wrap soon. So you did it for a year, and I want people to get your book.
Yeah, I mean the last third of the book is what I should be telling you now. It's about what I did is I invented a character who was also homeless with me, only he knew about it. Because after a year, I knew about it. So I gave him all that information up front, and I watched what he did with it, knowing now the ins and out of where you can park and what you can do and what's illegal. And, you know, it's not raining outside. There's in the middle of the night, there's a guy pissing on your back wheel. You have adventures like that. Or guys punching through your window, trying to rob, just trying to grab what was on the front seat.
And you're not making any money during this time.
No.
But you're managing to eat.
But I had enough money where if it was an emergency, I could check into a hotel.
Even the whole year, you still had enough money?
Only enough money for a couple of days, and then I would go back to the committee. In other words, the committee was my backstop.
And had you been in touch with them? Did they have any idea what was going on?
No.
Did they know where you were?
No, they thought I was living in an apartment and just was cooling it for a year. Because I was always, if I ever wanted to go back into the committee, that was always open. And I was still going over to their house. I just never said where I was living.
Oh, I see. So you were seeing them, in touch with them. They knew
Yeah, they just thought I was on a sabbatical. But then I would just disappear, around 9 o'clock. Or I would stay up with them, if we were partying or smoking or talking or whatever. And then I would, good night. And then I would get in my car and I would drive away. And they would think, well, he's going to his apartment. And I know I'm driving my apartment. But they never knew that. Wow. And when they would see me driving, because they would, I'd say, well, you need a ride somewhere, and they would sit on the box, and they would, and I had a little curtain or something. So were my living quarters. So, no, and I was always, it was a great secret of mine because they never suspected. It was really weird.
When you went back and told them?
I never told them. Ever.
You never told them?
No, I just went right back into it. Just like it never happened. But I had, what I had, you can't buy.
I was going to say, were you you had to be a changed person?
No, I'm not a changed person, but I had more information, a lot more different information than anybody else had. And if that's called, being wiser or something, I don't think so. I just had more information than I ever had before because people were homeless and they were being derided. And I thought, I'm in a satirical group, man. I mean, all we did was mock, bullshit. And all we did was point, and that was our thing, We're not making this stuff up, we're just pointing. I mean, that was literally what we were doing. Because if we did something that was really funny and current, within a month, some politician would just do it. And somebody say, wow, how did, when that politician did that thing, that gave you the idea to write that. No. We did that 3 months ago. It just, reality caught up with us. But any satirical group is like that. That wasn't our thing. That's what satire is.
Right.
I was geared for it and loaded, and that's where Emmett Demas came from. Oh, I don't have to write about this. I can be this. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, because there's nobody doing the homeless stuff from the inside out.
Right.
No, from the inside out, it's different information. It's different emotions.
Does it make audiences uncomfortable?
No, but when you are talking about the truth and making them laugh, they laugh louder. The truth, man, is much funnier than good writing, good satirical writing. And they know it, and they don't know they know it, but they recognize the heart. You can't manufacture the truth. You can't do it. If you think, but the funniest people are the ones who've been there and done that. They're like Pryor and Carlin and Lenny. They've been there. That's coming from, and then, your wisdom, your inner wisdom, mashes it and makes it plastic and comes out with, funny. But the bottom line is, the core of it is the reality of the truth.
Did you ever do it again?
No, you can't. I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like something else that was so horrible. The worst turns to laughter, but it was the worst. You're not going to do that again. It was the worst. I mean,
But you did
cops
it for a
making
year.
I did it for a year because the information, but once I had enough information, once I was full up to here, I don't need to do this anymore.
Okay, so what told you at a certain point, I'm done?
Okay, the same thing that made me call up Jack Rollins and say, hey man, the cops are pulling me off the stage. I can't do this anymore. While I was getting the laughs and opening for Miles Davis, it was fun. I was getting information. I was learning. It was a learning experience. I mean, maybe that's where I'm really coming from. I don't know. But I called my manager and said, it's over. The stand-up is over. I can't do it. Richie Pryor can do it. He can keep on doing it. He has a lot of nights where people boo him off the stage. He just kept on doing it. I didn't want it. Same thing. I'm done. It's over. I've got enough information that I can write when I need to write. In my when I was with a girlfriend living with a woman or living with a woman with a child, my scenes in the committee were all about having either a wife or a girlfriend or taking care of a kid. I mean, that was my. You gotta be there. If you want to be funny, you gotta be there. And if you're not there, then you can't be funny. You can be stupid. I mean, stupid in the funny sense, like kids poop humor. But that's what they know. That's their reality. So to them, it's really funny. But once you get out of that, hey, it's not funny anymore. I need. So, no, you don't want to go back to it, but I certainly know about it. And probably it's a little different, but frankly, when I used to do Hell's Angel humor, when I was in San Francisco and riding a motorcycle, and Hell's Angels happened to come to my shows, and I would hang out with them, not a heavy hangout, but, after the show, they would want to talk to me because, hey, that's motorcycle stuff. Yeah, well, I own a motorcycle. So they heard the truth of it, and so they would take it a little beyond that. Like they'd say after a while, you say, "Yeah, so what do you ride?" A 145 Honda. Oh.
And they all moved away from me.
No. But they said no because I had the gist. They'd say, is that red 145 Honda that's parked outside, that's yours? I go, yeah. They go, hey, man, cool. Let us know. Hey, yeah, right. Let us know if you need parts. We steal those all the time. I go, how do you steal that? And he goes, you back up a flatbed truck. That's how you steal it. You go, oh, you just pick them up and throw them in the truck and drive. They don't break any locks. Maybe later.
Just pick the whole thing up.
Or what they do is they break it down and then they sell it piece by piece. You can get more money that way.
Larry. Pete, do we have any questions?
We do.
What do we got?
Would you ever do stand-up again?
Oh, yeah, I love it. I'm working on that. Yeah, I'm working on. But now it's called a one-man show. So, but basically, it's stand-up. But I'll do. I mean, that's why I got all these markers in here. These are from my one-man show. Little pieces that are really funny in the writing.
Right.
So I'm making the one-man. But it's basically a stand-up. It's me, just just talking.
Who's your favorite all-time person you open for? Favorite all-time person
that I opened for. Yeah. Oh, Miles Davis, easy. Yeah. I mean, easy peasy. I mean, Well, the Blues Project and Love and Spoonful, because we were all together. We were just a gang of going out there and doing. But Miles Davis brought in I met Jack Kennedy and Jackie because they came to see his show.
Wow.
So he goes, I used to do this thing about cops. The difference between a cops and a Hell's Angel is a cop would be in New York. You know, the cops ride Vespas. They're the parking ticket cops ride Vespas because they ride around. See, so I said, so the Hells Angels are really kind of like cops that made it, parking ticket. Because when I was in New York, I would do that. Say, Hells Angels in New York are like New York parking ticket cops that made it. Because, when you're a parking ticket cop riding around giving people tickets, it's like nothing. It's like that. But when you're a Hell's Angel and you're copy, boom, 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 boom. So it would go on like that's why the Hell's Angels would come to, because I did Hell's Angels humor. Yeah. Okay. But when I was doing Miles Davis stuff, opening for Miles Davis, and after the show, Jackie and Jack and his brother and their little entourage stayed after the show. They didn't go backstage. There was no backstage. There was a little tiny green room. So they stayed in the room when everybody was emptied out. And they were standing in the middle of the room, and they would be talking to Miles. And they had a little tier where you just go about five or six steps up. And there was a little tier where you could also sit in a nightclub thing. But you could see over the heads of the people down here. So I'd be sitting on the stairs in the shadow. Just like kind of sitting there like this, just watching. Wow. That's Jackie and that's Jack and there's his brother and there's Miles. I'm sitting there like this going, wow, this is so cool. You know what I'm saying? And then Miles just like peeks up, and he sees me sitting there like this and he goes, Kennedy didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And then they went back to talking. So, yeah, I mean, there's a great deal about it, and it's off the top of your head because I never wrote anything.
That's amazing that you had this big career at it and never wrote.
Well, I was in improv. I was in improv for for 10 years. I was in improv, so it was easy to just use what you saw that day, or even the stuff that in retrospect I could remember. Oh, there was a thing I did with Catherine that we improvised that night in the committee, but what I was doing, I could forget about her and just do it as my part on stage, So yeah, but I never wrote. Writing is very difficult.
Trishan is requesting that you read from your book.
Okay, so let's have a little excerpt.
Oh, just a little excerpt.
Yeah, let's have a little excerpt. Thanks,
Okay,
Trish.
where's my... All right, fine.
You got
Just
you
a
got
really
your readers?
quick. Okay, so...
Tell us the name, how they can get it.
Oh, it's called The Loophole Dossier, and the cover is kind of stupid, but I designed it.
It's very cute.
Well, it's kind of cute, but it's brown and black. That's not funny. Orange, pink, yellow, blue. Those are the funny colors. Okay, so anyway. All right, so here's right here. Okay, I got them marked from my stand-up. Okay, so this is okay. So here's Now, when you become homeless, you're gonna miss certain things. Doorknobs. No doorknob. You don't have a doorknob. A wall. You don't have a wall. Sans walls. No wall. No doorknob. No table. No bathroom. Now. Is it weird? Is it scary? But if you don't have no wall, no bathroom, no table, and no doorknob, and you think you're not homeless, think again. You're homeless. Now, here's the rule. This is really short, 30 seconds. Here's the rule. Homelessness is not a state of mind. Homelessness is not a situation. Homelessness is a job. What is the job of the homeless? Get through today and find a safe place to sleep tonight. Now, that's it. A no-brainer. Okay, but what are the specs of the job? 3 consecutive 8-hour shifts, no pay, no time off, no day off, no one's in charge, there are no rules, but if there are, they change every 40 feet. People with homes don't like you, no bathroom, there's no place to go, but all you have to do is get through today and find a safe place to sleep tonight, and you're home free. Completely home free.
Wow, Larry, that's excellent. I mean, this is an excellent book. It's a lot.
And then
of
he goes
things.
on. That was Barnum Justice is the guy's name. He goes on to explain a lot about how it is and how to get around it. So that's the introduction.
Fantastic. And can you tell the plan that you have of what you're doing now with your...
Oh, so I'm taking... That was out of my stand-up. In other words, my stand-up, and I put all my stand-up stuff about homeless and stuff like that into this book, but they were just like separate. Well, I did that in September of that year, and this I did this, and this was a different hunk, and that was... So I just collected them all, and I thought, I have other stories too, like the Sometimes Jones stories are in here. Those are fables. Those are funny fables. So I just collected all my writings when I wasn't working, and I put it into a book, but I thought that would be easy. You know, you just get the pages, you put it together, you know, and then you just get it published, and that's it. And you just reap the rewards. No, man. I mean, just getting the right running order and it's writing. Writing writing is so hard because you can erase it. And if you can erase it, you're gonna. And you're gonna think again, and you're gonna rewrite it. And
It took me 13 years to publish my book.
Rewriting and rewriting. Where I used to just get up on a stage, and it was so simple because if I would get a laugh, here's the magic of it. My magic.
Okay.
My magic is that if I get a laugh, I have a photographic memory for it.
Isn't that fantastic? Not for on the
What a
radio.
gift. Because if I didn't get a laugh, I would just forget it.
Wow.
It wasn't me like I would edit it. No, I just forget it.
Wow.
So I would go the next day, I would just go from laugh to laugh. What I would do, here's how I would get up on stage, and for 3 minutes, here's what you got to know about an audience. They will give you 2 minutes free of charge. After a while, because I hated being introduced, this is how I was being introduced in the beginning when for Miles Davis at the Cellar Door. Now, I had been at the Cellar Door a lot, opening for a lot of people, but Miles Davis for them was special, and that was a packed house every night. So they wanted to get a really great comedian. I mean, you know, somebody good.
Yeah.
So they called me. They said, hey, listen, we got Miles Davis opening. We want you to open. Can you open for this amount of weeks? And I said, yeah, that'd be so cool, man. So that was a special thing. But I would do hunks for him. And I don't know why I'm telling you this story. I forgot the point.
No, you were going in saying that the introduction and that the audience will give you 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah. So how I would do it, how I would work that is I would get up on stage, knowing what I did from learning all those things. You go up on stage, and I would just talk about my day that day, or maybe yesterday, for 2 minutes. You know, and you kind of time it out. Then they would just like, so in the beginning, hey, here's my introduction. Because they knew my work.
Right.
So, you know, ladies and gentlemen, one of the funniest people we've ever had at the Cellar Door, Death. Death. The funniest people that I'll be the fucking judge of that, Charlie. And they would just sit there with their, you know, okay, you're the funniest guy, really. We're here to hear Miles. But I said, so after a while, because I would start really slow with the 2 minutes, you know, I'd kind of run out of the 2 minutes. They would get antsy. What's going on? So I would just say, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Hankin. So I would, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Hankin. And I would talk for 2 minutes, and they said, where's this going? And then I would hit him with my best, you know, kind of 1 minute. I would hit him with my one, and they go, oh, wow, he's a really funny comedian. And then I would have them, but that first 2 minutes was really rehearsal for tomorrow's opening, or maybe the next night, if it worked. If it didn't work, I'd dump it and say what I did the other day. Always 2 minutes, and then I'd move the 2 minutes up, and then the good stuff. Move the 2 minutes up, the kind of, the stuff that worked, and then or maybe move it up, the funny stuff, and then the stuff that kind of worked. And then I do and after a while you get these hunks, and you build and you build. This is what they would say. This is the thing, is when you sign for your first record, or your first DVT, here comes Larry Hankin, or coming at you, Larry, that first one. It would be really funny, and maybe you'd get a big sell because it's really funny stuff that you worked on for maybe 2 years. Mm-hmm. It's the second album that's the killer, because you don't have time. You're just going along making stuff funny until you get it could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years sometimes. The first album comes out. You have 7 years of really honed stuff. Mm-hmm. And they say, we got to have another one in 3 to 6 months. Mm-hmm. And now you're starting to write and stuff. That was the killer. So I would just hone it, and I never made an album because I knew that I didn't want to lose that stuff. The album comes out once, and then you got to come out with another one. But I could really make a circuit of. I could even come back to the same club in a year, use the same material, and it would work because the churning of the audience. But so that was the thing that I learned, that you got to be careful what you do with your stuff. It's all you have. And the second one is always sometimes not as funny. By the third one, then you're doing albums and you've got it down. You kind of know, okay, I got to work on this really fast because, And now it's even worse. Today, man, the turnover is, a couple of days.
Well, because everything's on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, they immediately put it on YouTube, and boom.
And then you got to have new stuff.
Yeah. So, but a one-man show is kind of different. You do it. You got an hour. You can tour the theaters, fine, and then you put it on HBO if you're good enough, and that money kind of covers you, and they'll play it a lot. Pardon me. So they can put it on. That money can keep you going for quite a while, and you can still use it because it's not a record. They didn't buy it. Well, maybe they stream it. I don't know how. I haven't done a stand-up in years, so I'm trying to figure out what that thing is.
Well, it's exciting that you're coming back to it. And speaking of stand-up, Pete George.
Hey.
Pete George, the rock and roll comedian. Come tell us what you're up to. Come around. Say hello. Tell us what you're doing.
You know what? This interview is awesome.
Come.
So enjoying it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very much so, right?
Hi, Pete George.
Hey, this guy's.
So you're going to Las Vegas? Viva Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. By the way, I did perform for 200 Hells Angels in Reno a few years ago, and Sonny Barger was right in the middle of them. And I'm telling you, the first 10 minutes was so scary.
Yeah.
And once I got him, and at the end, this big dude with huge hands, black teeth, walks up and he's like, "Thanks for making me happy."
Cool. Yeah, they're really cool for people who make them laugh.
Yeah.
They're cool. That thing about Richie Pryor and the other guy doing that movie about them being in jail. Richie Pryor.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. Yeah, well, that's true. And Pryor did time. He actually did time.
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, what did you do? Was it scary?" He said, "I was scared the whole time. I just kept those guys laughing. It was on my butthole. That was the only thing, just laughing on my." And so he said, "I was funny all the time."
Yeah.
And so where are you going to be funny all the time, Pete?
Not in prison.
When you're you got to be funny in prison. But if you're not in prison, then
I did do a show in a prison once, but that's a different story.
Where are you going to be funny this week?
I'm going to be at Tickle Me Comedy Club Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Las Vegas downtown.
Oh, that's great, man.
So I'll be headlining there, and it's going to be awesome.
Wow. I'd love to see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I still to this day on the internet I only watch Nova and stand up on HBO.
Nova.
Wow,
the Nova part cracks me up.
But I watch all of the comedians.
Right.
What's that? What's it? Bar? No, is that Bar?
Trish is saying thank you for
Bill Burr.
reading to us. So anyway, so we've I feel like we're going to have you back because I feel like there's so much of the story we haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
And you have great stories, and hearing them
cool.
is phenomenal. Thank you so much for doing this, Larry.
Thank you for having me.
Came a really long way to do
This
this.
was so awesome.
And he's so sweet and so humble, and wrote like my favorite inscription in the book when you gave it to me. It really meant a lot to me. I appreciate it, and it means a lot. Pete, thank you for doing this. Thank you all for tuning in. And Larry, so where can they check you out?
Okay, you can check me out on my website is thereallarryhankin.com, but it's in beta now. You can go on, you can check it out. Okay. But we're putting up stuff. It's being built, but you can watch us build it. So some of the stuff works, some of the stuff doesn't. There's my biography, there's pictures, there's stuff on it.
Okay.
So go there. So you can see me there. I'm writing a screenplay now. It's a funny vampire movie, so that eventually. And you can go to Vimeo.
I'm on dossier. You can get on Amazon.
Amazon or any bookstore all over the world. You know, it's in ebook or a hardcover.
Okay.
You know, and then on the internet, you can go on Vimeo. I've done about 50 film shorts, little tiny film shorts. So about 50 of them are on Vimeo, Larry Hankin, or my website. I got like about 12 on there. You know, The Real Larry Hankin. And, you know, every once in a while I'm doing a TV show or a movie, but I really want to do my own. So now, finally, when I'm, you know, in my golden years, I'm thinking of, I got a career. I want to make movies now.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's finally when I'm winding everything up, I get this, I know what I want to do. I need about 15 to 20 years to do it, you know. It's cool, you know. So all right,
that could happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got I got an arc to go to for the first time.
I love it. Thank you so much, Larry.
Thank you, Vicki.
And I'm gonna give you a kiss. And by the way, earlier tonight, Leland Sklar, the incredible bass player extraordinaire, was walking in with Larry because he thought he was on the show tonight. And this happened.
But I beat him up.
But Larry wrestled him, and
he's
won.
coming next week?
And he'll be here next week, and
Great.
he's amazing. And the
He's a
immediate
great
family,
guy.
they're making a documentary on the immediate family right now. And if you don't know the immediate family, it's Russ Kunkel, it's Danny Korchmar, it's Waddy Wachtel, it's Steve Postel. It's an unbelievable band of all stars, and they're making a documentary about them. And they've been gigging all over the world, and they have albums out, and they've just made a new album. And
he's played with everybody you've known.
He's played with everybody, and James Taylor and Bonnie Raitt and all these people, amazing people. And so anyway, he'll be with us, and we'll get him to do some playing. He didn't bring an instrument with him. We're going to remind him to do that. That only happened once before. Robert Morse, the incredible Robert Morse, showed up a week before he was supposed to be performing here for Women Who Write, and he just sat with me, and we did like a Facebook Live thing before there was Facebook Live. We just went online and started talking to people. It was so much fun. But anyway, so Russ will be here. Not Russ. Lee will be here next week. I got Russ Kunkel on the brain now. And then in 2 weeks, Bruce Valanche will be with us. And,
wow.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty
That
phenomenal.
guy is... How does he come up with all
I don't know,
those
but
jokes, man?
He's a machine. He's a
he's amazing.
He's amazing. He's so funny. So I'm so looking forward to that. And I want to give a shout out to the people that support us and are supportive of you and will be supportive of you. So Rick Smokey of Quick Impressions in Chicago, he makes all my stuff, and he's amazing. Great printers. They will do, if you need anything printed, he will take care of you like...
He made those.
He will take care of you.
Oh, great.
And he takes care of artists.
Where does he work out of?
In Chicago. And he's amazing. But everything gets shipped, you know, it's just all...
Oh, okay.
And so if you need anything... Rick Smokey, Quick Impressions of Chicago. And if you need your hair done, my fabulous hairdresser, Nicole Venables of the Ruby Begonia Salon, and she has this fabulous
I was looking at that.
Did you see? Fuck off!
Fuck off, right.
Yes, Hair Crush Love, and she's a great hair cutter, and her stuff is at Friends Beauty Supply, and her salon is in Studio City. Ruby Begonia. Do you remember?
I once lived with a hairdresser.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have good hair?
Oh, I had great
Excellent hair.
However,
Yes.
she would use my hair to learn how to dye
that's not
people's
good.
hair.
Yeah, that's not good. That can be a drag. Also, do you know about this? Okay,
You've
so
never seen me with red hair.
so you were talking about Penny Marshall.
Yeah.
And, okay, so Happy Days, Anson Williams, his uncle was Heimlich of the Heimlich maneuver.
Wow.
And they invented this thing called alert drops. And Anson, I want to tell you that this came up today because yesterday I went to lunch with someone who was about to drive back to Las Vegas, and I was telling him, he was saying that he gets sleepy when he's making the long drive. What this is, Larry, is if you get... All right, wait, I'm trying to find... Here. It's just lemon. Go like this. It's just really intense lemon, but it will wake you the fuck up and you will not go to sleep. So alert drops are fabulous and they're saving lives.
Wow.
Right? But what's great about it is it does wake you up.
Yeah. Don't sit on it by accident.
Yeah.
I thought I was awake.
Anyway.
Okay,
so,
let's do the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So thank you again so much, Pete. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week with Leland Sklar, and thank you.